Hey guys, my name is Matteo, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formats out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Sam, and it is, do you think that Battlefield is starting to move into more like Call of Duty? I am not seeing this at all, and really, I don't understand why this criticism pops up as much as it does. This was actually a pretty big critique when Battlefield 3 first released, and even then I didn't think it held much merit. When a lot of hardcore Battlefielders first got their look at that title, many complained that they were focusing too much on infantry gameplay. You looked at maps like Grand Bazaar, Saying Crossing, and they didn't have all that all-out epic warfare that the Battlefield franchise was known for, with jets, helicopters, every single vehicle represented, and some people were upset by that, especially the hardcore community. But even then, even on those maps, just because of the way that Battlefield is set up with large player counts, very large maps, I mean, this is nowhere near an arena shooter, I would say that even back in Battlefield 3, that the two games, Call of Duty and Battlefield, are miles apart. You have to remember that these are first-person shooters at their core, and they're always going to share similarities, and honestly, they are going to borrow from their different franchises. Like, Battlefield has taken from Call of Duty, and Call of Duty, I'm sure, has taken from Battlefield. This is the reason why we have specializations and the field upgrades in Battlefield 4. It's the perk system from Call of Duty. You could claim that this is codifying Battlefield. I mean, I guess you could make that claim. But when we really get down to it, it's just adding further layer of customization to the game. This allows players a different play style. If you want to be a super sneaky, stealthy assassin, you can do that now because of this field upgrade. If it wasn't in there, that play style would be a little bit more limited. And so I can't really see that being a bad thing. The only way that I could see this criticism holding any weight at all is if they completely change the way that Battlefield has been playing out by adding essentially kill streaks and shrinking the size of every map until the point where it's every map is 5 versus 5 or maybe like 10 versus 10, and that's it. No more 64-player conquest, no more tanks, helicopters, jets. I mean, when we really get down to it, that's what Battlefield is all about. When we play on every single Battlefield game, it's large-scale warfare, gigantic maps, vehicles, everything everywhere, and that's what makes Battlefield Battlefield. Call of Duty is about smaller maps, it's about intense gameplay, it's about kill streaks, crazy customization options, high-octane action, and while yes, they do share some similarities, you can play 5 versus 5 in Battlefield, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the same game, and Battlefield is all of a sudden becoming the next Call of Duty. If I remember right, DICE has actually come out and said that they will never add kill streaks to the Battlefield franchise. I looked around, I couldn't find the exact quote, but if I remember right, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me exactly, that they said that they have no plans of ever adding kill streaks into the Battlefield franchise, and if they still stay with the same large-scale epic warfare, I don't really think you have anything to worry about. And so maybe I just went way too in-depth with this. Maybe I'm just a crazy person. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I just don't think that this criticism holds any weight whatsoever. The next question comes from Kurt, and it is, do you think that dusting since the recent patch has gotten worse in Battlefield 4? Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, and DICE actually agrees with you because they are apparently working on a fix to this dusting problem. For everyone that's confused about this term dusting, like what is dusting, basically if you've ever tried to shoot at a helicopter, let's say you're in a main battle tank and you get a direct hit, you clearly see your shell explode on the hull of an enemy helicopter, but you don't get a kill, that's dusting. You don't get a hit marker. It's basically a netcode related issue dealing with the network, and of course it's really frustrating when this happens. It's almost game breaking to some extent. I have seen some videos of jets in a dogfight. They're clear, like their minigun and their weapon is clearly hitting the enemy helicopter or the enemy jet, and they're not getting any hit markers at all. Like they're doing like 2 damage. It's really bad right now. And so DICE is aware of the issue. I believe that we're not gonna have to wait for like the fall update, which would be another couple of months now. Like that would be very bad. Like that would be game breaking. And so I believe that DICE is trying to find a workaround server side. I think there is going to be a server side patch in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks. We're just gonna have to cross our fingers on that. But yeah, absolutely. This is not in your imagination. Dusting is really bad right now. I think some people were saying that it has to deal with your ping, and so if you are on a server that is across the world and you have a ping of like 200, it's going to be even worse. So the best bet is to try and join a server that is in your region. I know this isn't possible for everyone, but even still, it's a serious issue. And so until that server-side update goes live, we're going to have to grit our teeth. I know it sucks, but they're aware of it, and I'm glad that they're aware of it, and that hopefully it will be resolved in the very, very near future. The next one comes from Vincent, and it is, what do you think about the marksman bonus being removed on the CTE? Honestly, I'm happy that it's happened. If you're not aware of what the marksman bonus is, I'm sure you all are, but as a recon, if you're using a bolt-action rifle and you get a headshot, the further away they are from you, the more points you get. This basically incentivizes those players to go for those long ball shots and to sit on the opposite side of the map to get this insane headshot bonus. Sure, it's really cool when it happens and you see 1,000,000 points fly up across your screen, but at the end of the day, you're not really helping your team. And so what DICE has done on the CTE is, I don't think they've removed it completely, but to the best of my knowledge, I think that it's now like a 25 or 50 points for getting a headshot when you are playing as a recon. Doesn't matter if you are 500 meters away or 100 meters away, that marksman bonus is now going to be consistent throughout all of these distances. The reason why DICE has done this is that they want to get players to move on to objectives. They want them to get closer to the battlefield, so they're not incentivized to go for those long ball shots, maybe get 2 or 3 kills the entire round, but rake in all of these points. It just doesn't seem like a good game design. And while I realize that some people are going to be upset by this, there are some people that this is all they do. This is their jam. They love going for those long ball shots. Like, this is why they play Battlefield, and this will be a little upsetting. And while you can still go for them, like, it's still going to be in the game, there's not going to be any limitations on how far you can kill someone, but you're not going to get that point reward at the end of the day, and it's just not going to be as satisfying as it was because, of course, that's really why people did it. I am still hoping, though, that they're going to look at other ways to supplement or to just increase the point values that a recon can get on the battlefield. If you take away the biggest source of points for that class, then they're going to have a hard time reaching the top of the scoreboard. They're just going to have a difficult time compared to all the other classes. And so I'm hoping that they're going to add other mechanics in there or just more point values for doing other actions. One way they could do it is just to give more points for spotting. The recon class could be heavily rewarded. Instead of like the solid 25, maybe they could get 50 or 40 points for spotting enemies. This would incentivize them to maybe use the MAV and the tugs a little bit more. I mean, recon stands for reconnaissance. This is what the class is all about, and rewarding them more points for doing those actions seems like a smart idea. So that's one way they could do it. If you guys have any ideas on how else they could supplement their point value, let me know down below. I'm sure DICE is trying to figure this out. We always want to incentivize teamwork. And so if you guys have a really good idea to make the recon a little bit more interactive and to play the objective more, let everyone know down below because I am very curious. At the end of the day, though, the reason why DICE did this and what it comes down to is that they just want recons to play closer to the objectives. They thought that it probably wasn't a good idea to incentivize crazy long ball shots, and so that's why they're taking it away. And hopefully this will be a good thing. As long as recons don't become worthless in the point value, as long as they're able to substitute those points in other areas, I think that in the long term, at least for teamwork and objective gameplay, this will be a good thing for Battlefield 4. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.